So these are the numbers over the time between 92 and 2006. You see here the different size of the system, between 0 and 2 kilowatt peak, 2 and 5 kilowatt peak, 5 and 10. When you see that the market, this is relative here, the market share of the size of the system, or the market share of the smaller systems was reduced over the last years. So this in 2006, the market share of systems up to 10 kilowatt peak is about 30%. This is what I have shown in the slide before. But we started, of course, in Germany in the 90s, mainly with that smaller systems. So with a market development in Germany, we started with smaller systems and the systems become bigger and bigger. But the share of systems above 1 megawatt is only in the range of 15% in 2006. So, you know the technology behind. These are typical figures for small systems. From our surveys, the investment cost today for a already installed small PV system is 4,373 euro per kilowatt peak, ready installed without VAT. The annual production of solar electricity in Germany is about 900 kilowatt hour per year. Feed-in tariff for small systems about 46.7 euro cent. Feed-in payment therefore about 420 euro per year, and interest rates, KfW Bank is offering loans with interest rate of about 5.2%. So these are the framework conditions for the investments, you know that. And what you see here, and I want to underline that point, it's always, from my experience, important to show the difference, because this is not a big difference regarding the technology, but it's a big difference regarding the finances. On the right side, the connection of systems in Germany. So the photovoltaic system is connected on the utility side of the meter, and in USA and other countries with net metering, so-called net metering, the system is connected on the consumer side of the meter. This means first you using your photovoltaic electricity in your home and only feeding in what you are not using by yourself. And in Germany, 100% is fed into the grid and paid by the utility with the fixed feed-in tariff. So how does the German feed-in law is working? Also, I'm sure I can go very fast through that slide, because I'm sure you are all experts regarding that. But it's important always to mention the principles behind, because it's a very simple structure, and I think this is one of the reasons why it is so successful in Germany, but also successful in discussions in other countries. So first of all, priority connection for all PV systems is granted. Each solar kilowatt hour has to be purchased by utility, and we have fixed feed-in tariff payments over 20 years. And also want to mention here, we see different, very high variety of different proposals and feed-in tariff systems in different countries. It's always also important to discuss how long the feed-in tariff is fixed. In Germany, it is 20 years due to the fact that we together know that the photovoltaic systems has at the minimum a lifetime of 20 years. And so this was the reason to fix it over 20 years. The reduction of feed-in tariff each year up to now is 5% annually. So, yeah, the target, of course, is to reduce the costs and to reach grid parity. With this 5%, we started in 2000 with this 5% every year, and then continued in 2004. And so the target is grid parity. This means that solar electricity will be cheaper than the retail price of electricity. And with this 5% every year, it was expected that grid parity will be reached in 2018. I come back to that point. Up to now, we have this structure due to the fact that large PV plants are cheaper per kilowatt peak than smaller ones. The government decided in 2004 that there are different levels of feed-in tariffs depending on the size of the system, with the aim that every system has, or every investor, not depending on the size of the system, that every investor at the end of the day can make the same profit out of the system. So we calculated what is the price for the different systems, and then we calculated the feed-in tariff which is necessary to achieve the same profit. And then there were some ranges of sizes of system, not to have too many different feed-in tariffs. This is the situation today. Up to 30 kilowatt peak for systems which are installed in 2008, you receive 46.75 euro cent, etc., etc. For ground-mounted systems, it is expected that only very large systems are installed above 1 megawatt, so it was only one figure of 35.49 euro cent per kilowatt hour in this year. If it is facade integrated, you receive an additional bonus of 5 euro cent. That's the situation today. And this gives you an impression how the market is looking like, how the systems are looking like. And of course, we have a lot of ground-mounted systems as well, fixed mounted, but also 2-axis tracker are installed. So I'm sure you are informed about the strong discussions in Germany about the amendment of the EEG. So it is written in the law that every 4 years there is an evaluation of the feed-in tariff system to discuss how prices are developing, how the market is developing, and so this regular discussion took place over the last half year. And there was a strong discussion. At the beginning, there was a proposal of 8%, and at the end, or not at the end of the discussion, but in the middle of this discussion, there were some studies and some experts talking and expressing their view on that, and expressed that it will be possible to reduce the feed-in tariff by 30%, 30%, in 1 year. This was a crazy proposal, but it was an honest proposal by some experts or some politicians. And so this was a discussion between 5 and 30%. At the end of the day, we have decided, or the Parliament decided of 6th of June, reduction of feed-in tariff by 8% in 2009 and 2010 for small systems up to 100 kilowatt peak, and 10% for systems which are bigger than 100 kilowatt peak. And in 2011 and 2012, every system or every feed-in tariff will be reduced by 9%, not depending on the size of the system. And also there was a discussion, of course we altogether know, and this is the basis for all this policy, that if the market is growing faster, there should be the potential to reduce the feed-in tariff and to reduce the price and the cost of the system faster. And so therefore there was this corridor implemented. You see here this yellow corridor. So it is expected that the market will develop in 2009 will have a size between 1,000 and 1,500. 2010 a size between 1,100 and 1,700 megawatt, and if it is above that corridor, and if the market is bigger than this corridor, in the year after, the digression will be 1% higher. So, for example, if the market is 2 gigawatt in 2010, the reduction of feed-in tariff will be not 9% in 2011, but 10%. So this is the situation decided in June, and we'll start from next year on. We will see the result of that. What does this mean for the feed-in tariffs? For the different levels?